Well, it has been an exciting time at Please Excuse My Dead Aunt Sally. I'd like to share some personal news. I recently had a birthday. My wife and I spent an entire morning trying to figure out how to change our Facebook privacy settings years old. For my birthday, I got a couple of interesting gifts that I was really hoping for. I finally got my car wrapped. The entire exterior of my car is now bright fuchsia and has instructions on how to behave at a four-way stop sign, printed in large letters. You can't miss it. I hope. I also got my own roll of cellophane, which is advertised as being endless. I don't want to get too specific, but sometimes I go to these parties, see, and the RSVP instructions might say something like, dress to your personal comfort level, and bring your own cellophane. Also, my son is due to be born any day. There are lots of things you don't think of when preparing for the birth of a child, so I always recommend that you check with friends. I called every person I know who's had a baby boy in the past few years and asked them if they had their child circumcised and vaccinated. Now I know who is worth continuing to be friends with. I also know who I should never call again under any circumstances. Any circumstances. Today, on Please Excuse My Dead Aunt Sally, the History Channel finally changes its name to a lengthy fart noise. Next, on Ancient Aliens vs. Bigfoot. And Mike finally watches The Notebook. Why? Well, what a couple weeks it's been at Please Excuse My Dead Aunt Sally. Thank you so much for the kind reviews on iTunes, including Dylan from Salt Lake City, who says, 5 stars. Please Excuse My Dead Aunt Sally is better than that time I found Sam Rockwell hanging out in my laundry room. And Sam from Paducah, Kentucky, who says, this show and the host can go slip in a puddle of AIDS-bola. Yikes, Sam. Thank you. And now for some listener questions. To have your question answered on the show, write to pleaseexcusemydeadauntSally@gmail.com or click the email link in the Instagram page. Our first question today comes from Chaos and Carnage of They Mostly Podcast at Night. Chaos and Carnage write, hey Mike, we know a Sally. She's our sound engineer. Is she your dead Aunt Sally? Is she dead? And if so, how does she edit our podcast? Thanks, love the show, can't wait to see the Disney on Ice version. Sincerely, Chaos and Carnage of They Mostly Podcast at Night. What a question. Let's just go ahead and get this out there. My dead Aunt Sally takes many forms. And yes, she can exist in multiple places, simultaneously. Some say she started the tradition of clapping when someone drops a dish in a restaurant. Others believe that her blood tastes like raspberry syrup. I say, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, then it's most likely Sally, disguised as a duck. And while we're on the subject, I'd appreciate if you'd ask Sally to stop texting me random pictures that vaguely look like scrotums and side boobs. It's not cute. Well, it is, but it's not appropriate. Not to me, but to the old lady sitting next to me on the bus. Wait a minute. I don't take the bus. Oh, that's just Sally. Fucking with reality. Again. Seriously, I love you, Sally. Our next question comes from Adam at the Bespoken podcast. Adam asks, hey Mike, why isn't Uranus called Bottom if most of its moons are named after other characters from A Midsummer's Night Dream? And why hasn't anyone started a petition yet to change the name, considering they managed to make Pluto a planet again? I need answers. So, you want to weave that name in there, you jackass? I agree that Bottom would be more widely accepted name than Uranus. It is interesting that a moon was called Puck, which must have happened as part of a bet lost to Canada. The Uranian axis of rotation is approximately parallel to the plane of the solar system, with an axial tilt of 97.99 degrees as defined by prograde rotation, so it technically hath no bottom. The people who petitioned to make Pluto a planet again were all Disney employees who specialize in internet search terms. The whole thing is a sham, like Finland, which was recently proven to not exist. Look, if we can fake a moon landing, I'm pretty sure we can invent a fake planet, then make it disappear. Now's a perfect time to mention today's sponsor. Look folks, a journey of 1,000 miles starts by packing snacks. Check out Chris's gender-neutral Snack Stack Fanny Pack. Get some granola on your hip with these stylish 2 and 3 pocket climate-controlled fanny packs, perfect for hiking, marathons, or walking out of college classes that you paid for to protest someone else using their freedom of speech. That's Chris's gender-neutral Snack Stack Fanny Pack. Look folks, I can't make this shit up. Our final question today comes from Kimberly. Kimberly asked, what's the real story behind the Tooth Fairy, leprechauns, and Santa Claus? Well, I didn't want to get into this here. I thought we could keep this secret safe, but enough time has passed, and if you already found it all out, here it goes. See, the Tooth Fairy, that nutty motherfucker, the Tooth Fairy's a scumbag Shylock, and the leprechauns provide the muscle to keep anyone who might get ballsy in line. See, they don't give a shit about money or teeth. The teeth are just a cover. They leave $1 here and collect 12 grand there. The Tooth Fairy collects the money for the big guy. Cash comes from fathers who don't pay their gambling debts. Mothers kick in money laundered through the grocery delivery racket with the help of those shysters over at Whole Foods. Everyone's in on it. Even the nanny who shaved 10 minutes off bedtime just to get the brats to hit the pillow before the fairy prick arrives. And everybody gets a piece of it. And at the top of it all, the big guy, Santa, or Chris, or Nick, whatever bullshit name he goes by. He keeps moving so the feds have a hard time tracking him down. Honestly, no one even knows where the dude's from. And he lives so far up north, no one wants to even bother asking for a warrant to check out his place. Besides, he's bringing little gifts to everyone, if you know what I mean. The judge's stepchildren, the cops' kids, even the fucking president. All those songs, they're just a warning. It's part of how he got started. Guys on the street would say, hey, did you hear about this new guy, Santa? They say he sees you when you're sleeping. Yeah, man, I hear he knows when you're awake. Now, years later, no one fucks around with the guy. He's into drugs, weapons. I once heard he can get tanks delivered to African warlords. All they gotta do is convert the general population to Christianity and start setting up lights in trees as a sign that the pigs aren't watching. Thank you for writing, Kimberly. Now, don't say nothing about, well, you know, you got something sweet coming, so just keep your mouth shut. That's our show for today. Join us next week when I use social media to invite a bunch of old high school friends over to my house for what they think is a multi-level marketing event, until I ask them each to stand near a different electronic device so we can perfectly synchronize all of the clocks. Music for today's show was Novella Noel, Balsa Antigua, and Spyglass by Kevin MacLeod. Please take a moment to leave one of those nice reviews on iTunes, and be excellent to each other.
Hey, you're a fucking idiot. We're all doing that. Bye-bye.